This podcast is sponsored by our SA Rock and Metal fans Facebook page.
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Hey, Michael, how's it going?
Hi, how you doing? Right.
We got there.
We got there in the end. Good stuff.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Thanks for joining the conversation, man. I'm glad to finally get this one going.
Yeah, me too. I must say, all of this podcast thing is actually new to me, so I'm just happy every time it works.
Tell me, that's a Scottish accent that I'm hearing.
Not quite. No, I'm a Geordie. I'm from Newcastle. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Pretty close though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's actually where I was born is and grew up. It's probably about 80 mile from the border. So.
Okay.
We're pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah. So you live in Germany now, is that right?
I do. Yes. Yes.
Why Germany?
Well, I met a German girl.
So, folks, that's what happens.
That's what happens. Yeah.
Okay.
She swept me away.
Oh, that's great. I mean, obviously it's helped the career a little bit as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, sure.
Because let's talk about go straight into it, and the Queen May Rock thing. Is it a tribute or it's not a cover band?
It is, yeah.
Right.
No. We're well, I mean, you could say it's cover as well, because obviously we're covering the songs, but we do it pretty close to the original. I mean, I don't wear a costume or anything,
right.
And I don't have a wig or anything like that. So, but I know that some people do that kind of stuff, but we decided right from the outset that wasn't for us. We said no, we're just gonna play the music and let the music do the talking,
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And the exciting thing is that you actually got Brian May in on Hammer to Fall. How did that come about?
Well, actually, that it's kind of a bit of a trick. Brian May actually put that on his own homepage. He actually said, if anybody wants to do this, he put it. He put it out there and said, look, if anybody wants to do this, then give it a shot. So we did.
That's great, though. I mean, isn't that great? Yeah, that's such a big
absolutely
can do that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously they're in the same situation as the rest of us. I mean, they've got a slightly better financial cushion than we have. But I mean, they're working musicians as well, in the sense that they have nowhere to play, and the only option they have, the same as the rest of us, is to do streaming concerts and things with your good self,
How's that pushed you to sort of like reinvent the wheel, the whole pandemic and COVID?
Well, I think everybody's still living in hope that it's going to be over soon. I mean, here we are heading towards almost a year, and I guess nobody at the beginning expected that. So the first few months we were a little bit unprepared, because everybody was, let's just wait it out, 2-3 months, it will all be over, everything back to normal. And that wasn't the case. So we had to rethink, okay, how are we going to do this? If we can't get to the people, then we have to bring the people to us. So we did a couple of streaming shows in 3 different incantations of the band.
Right.
And we did like a trio show, we did an unplugged show, and of course the full rock show. So it's just basically feeling it out and say, okay, where can we do something new? What can we do now? We had time, because the lockdown wasn't so severe at the beginning as well, so we had chance to get together and rehearse still, and come up with a few ideas. And one of the things we did was to work on an unplugged Queen album, so we did that as well. So that'll be coming out within the next sort of 3-4 weeks.
Oh, okay, well. Fantastic. So, and that'll be on all digital platforms, or is it a Bandcamp thing, or where can we get it?
Well, that will be. I mean, we're trying to do it through the official channels, because we want to check with Queen themselves that it's
obviously,
okay. And so, if it's possible, then obviously we're going to release it on all of the major platforms. And if not, then we'll kind of do it as a giveaway, you know,
Right.
just to get it out there
Yeah.
and say, look, you know, hey, we're still here, we're still alive,
we
we're still around.
exist,
and-
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So how is things in Germany with the COVID? Is it getting better, or what's the situation?
Well, right now we're in quite a high lockdown, which means that everything is shut. So obviously all the bars, restaurants, sport clubs, obviously all the music venues, everything is closed, basically apart from getting your shopping. And we're now in a situation where we've been advised, not forbidden, but advised not to leave our homes and travel more than 15 kilometers away.
Wow.
Quite what that brings, you know, your guess is as good as mine. And I think right now we're just, you know, everybody's the same. We're all in the same boat. We just go, okay,
Just everybody
trust in the system. Yeah, exactly. You know, trust. Yeah, exactly. It's the simplest thing, and it's amazing how many people still have a problem with wearing a mask. You know, with their nose sticking out, or you know, half the. You have to shake your head, really.
I know it really isn't that difficult, you know. Anyway,
not really. Anyway, you know, it's
that part of the conversation, you know.
Exactly, without getting political.
Yeah, well, we could, but let's not go there.
Let's not.
Let's talk about your career, because it's quite illustrious. You know, you've done things like musicals, such as Oliver and Jesus Christ Superstar, and all these sort of things. Is it normal to head off into a music career after doing something like that, or do you go, or the two paths, you know, acting or music?
Well, I guess for most people who sing or involved in music, you kind of want to stay there. But I always had a love for theatre as well, and so that was always a serious option when I was younger. I was never 100% convinced that the rock and roll path would be the answer, and I thought, well, you know, I want to. Maybe I should study drama properly, and you know, I actually have a real love for theatre, and especially for things like Shakespeare, even. But I would have had to have studied that, and real life got in the way. So you know, you leave school, you get a job, and you know, music was always there, but you know, the reality of the situation was, okay, well, how am I going to get music into my life and keep it in my life and make it the focus, you know? Yeah. So, and as obviously as I got older, I drifted away from the theatre and got more into the rock and roll side, and been there ever since.
It's not just rock and roll stuff, though, is it? I mean,
no,
there's
true,
a whole bunch of eclectic stuff. There's country, there's pop, there's a little bit of heavy metal and hard rock, and I mean, you know, you're looking at Remode, a Depeche Mode cover tribute band, and then you got the Metal Inc., which is metal and hard rock. I mean, what is your preferred style, or is there not really a pigeonholing you of that sort of genre?
Well, I've always loved everything. I mean, for me, it's just simply good music or bad music. You know, I love everything from, as you said, from jazz to classical to metal, and you know, even some rap music. It just has to speak to me on some level. Right. And so because I'm so eclectic in my tastes, I think that's kind of why I never really stuck to one genre or the other. And I've always sort of, okay, well, my voice sounds okay doing this, so I'll try that. And, you know, okay, that doesn't sound so good. That doesn't feel so comfortable. So maybe not do that, you know, and just trying everything, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess being in theatre also helps honing different voices and handling different styles of singing.
Yeah, maybe to some extent, yeah. Never thought about that, actually, but it could be. I do see music as playing a role. Yeah. You know, for example, like with the Queen tribute, that you know, being in the position of Freddie, if you like, I try and step into his shoes for 2 hours and say, okay, how would Freddie do this? And try and interpret it. I mean, I don't really sound like him. I don't really look like him, but it's just interpreting the song and the music the best that I can. And people seem to, you know, to move towards it and say, oh, yeah, that works.
That works, yeah. I mean, I was just going to say, nobody wants to go see a replica. because they
No.
can't
Well,
replicate
I don't
Queen.
certainly.
Yeah.
I would, I'd much rather go and say. I mean, if somebody was doing a Bruce Springsteen tribute, I mean, I'm sure they do it really well. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't even attempt it.
Well, exactly.
That
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously have to be good musicians and good performers and everything else. But for me personally, even though I'm heavily involved in the tribute and cover scene, I wouldn't personally want to go and do that because I would rather see the original.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because I do my own thing. I think if for the general public who maybe aren't involved in music, maybe sometimes it's as close as you can get to your idol.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never actually seen Springsteen live, purely because he's either never toured where I happen to be, or I was on tour myself at that time, or there was always something, and I was like, I never ever got the chance. But I still live in hope.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
maybe someday,
Is there a fear of damage in the voice playing, doing stuff like Queen and the heavy metal and hard rock and stuff like that?
Well, that's part of the thing that I found just simply learning by doing, that I've found that trying things out with my voice, so I know what my voice can do and I know its limitations. And so if I know that I'm going to do say a jazz project, I know that my voice can behave in a certain way, and when I'm performing it live, you don't have to give so much force and so much pressure as you do when you're singing and performing a rock song, for example.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to the current single Turn Around and Kiss Me, and I'm listening to your voice now, and it sounds like two different people.
Well, I hope that's a positive thing.
Oh,
and
it's
not
a good
negative
thing, yeah, because it's
I mean, not like somebody says, "Is that the guy who sang that?" Really? Honest Gov, it was me. Yeah, but you're right. It's there's a lot of playing around, and yeah, I mean, I know that when I perform the Queen stuff, I have to really get myself in shape.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing a lot of concerts in a row, one after another, and I know that I have to be physically fit, I have to get enough sleep, I have to cut back on the alcohol. There are so many different things that you have to do, and then plus obviously all of the warm-ups.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different set of warm-ups that I do for my voice when I'm doing Queen, is maybe, as I said, if I was going to do some jazz singing.
Wow.
Some Frank Sinatra or something, because my voice is generally more relaxed anyway.
Okay.
If I'm approaching jazz, and if it's rock, then I kind of have to build it up and strengthen it a little bit.
Right. Get you. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting.
But good question.
Yeah, I mean, well, thanks. I'll sound semi-pro eventually. Bloody hell, it's only taken a good couple of months.
You made it.
That's it. I quit. I made it. What is the end goal then? Is it to like one day be, I mean, invited up on stage and do a live thing with Queen? Just
I mean, to be
like a lifestyle kind of thing.
Well, I mean, obviously that would be amazing. I mean, the opportunity would be incredible. But no, the fact that I'm involved, especially in the Queen project, is because I make a living from music, and it's really difficult. I mean, any performer who makes their own music will tell you this. It doesn't matter. Oh, sorry, my phone was going. Turn it off. Yeah, you see, it's live, folks.
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You don't get more live like this. Yeah.
Where were we? I've lost my train of thought now.
Yeah, we're talking,
So
on stage with them, yeah.
I mean, getting on stage with the guys, I mean, obviously it would be an incredible opportunity, and I would never say no. But on the other hand, I'm trying to do my own thing, and that is for me much more important than anything else. The Queen thing is basically my day job, if you like. This is how I make my money, how I earn my living, and I would like to make a living from purely doing my own stuff, but especially right now, the climate just doesn't fit. So
Yeah, it's certainly is tricky. Yeah, I mean, you want to be known as Michael Anthony Austin. You don't want to be known as the guy that does Queen covers or tributes. Yeah.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's not a bad thing to be. I mean,
Oh, no,
I
absolutely
know.
not.
I mean, I've performed in front of thousands of people over the years, and certainly made a lot of people very happy. I get a lot of great feedback, a lot of very, very nice comments through all of my social media feed, and I know that people really like what we do. So that's not to diss it or anything. It's just
absolutely,
as you said, I want to be known for being myself and doing my own thing. And it's a fight, it's a struggle, as most artists will tell you. But you just keep at it. You know, you just, as I said, and that's part of the reason as well why I've tried so many different things, because I refuse to give up.
Well, why should you? You're bloody good at what you do. Just keep
Oh,
doing
thank
it.
you.
So let's talk about your solo stuff now, okay? Turn Around.
Yeah, sure.
The latest single. The album, it's not the years, it's the mileage, and that's coming out in like 2 months' time.
Yeah, hopefully with a bit of luck it'll be the end of March.
Okay.
Everything is more or less ready to go. There's one or two songs that need a couple of tweaks in the mix, but everything is ready to go. Yeah.
So Turn Around and Kiss Me, how did that come about?
Actually, a song that I wrote. I write a lot of stuff on guitar anyway, because that's part of the style that I want to do with basically my own stuff. More than anything else, is that kind of singer-songwriter, country rock vibe. And I write pretty much everything on acoustic guitar. And this song was kind of lying around as an idea for the last couple of years, and it was actually when I was working on the sessions for the current album that we tried it with piano, and it just suddenly opened up. It just became, it just started to gain a new life, and yes, it was always in the back of my mind to have piano in the song, but that it would become the lead instrument was something that came about in the sessions. So very happy about that.
Yeah, beautiful song.
Yeah. Plus, obviously, to have a great pianist who played for me. So
when did this all start for you? That the whole like singing and theatre, and what is your first memory of music?
My first proper memory for myself of being aware of music. I know that I loved the Wombles.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was a guy who pretty famous around that time, wrote a lot of songs for a lot of people. A guy called Mike Batt, and he did this thing called the Wombles.
Right.
And I remember being very drawn to that record, and from there, then obviously discovering the parents' record collection. You know, so things like the Eagles and Beatles, and I was probably drawn to the Beatles more than anything else early on. And the album that from that time that has stayed with me all the time is Abbey Road. It's still one of my all-time favorite albums. I can always listen to it, always go back to it. But then from there, discovering things, you know, from aunties and uncles and things like that. So discovering Fleetwood Mac and Bob Seger and people like that.
Okay.
So you know, even Big Country. I remember
Big Country.
An uncle of mine had Big Country. Another aunt had Rush. So I had all these different influences and sounds and everything coming from all over the place.
Oh, Big Country.
And then obviously when you
fave of mine. Oh, just love Big Country.
Love Big Country. Yeah, I mean, you know, when Stuart Adamson unfortunately died, you kind of thought, well, that would be the end of it. But they're still out there, I think, and they've gained new life. They have had a couple of singers in between. Yeah. And although he was obviously the focus of the band, the songs were so good that they deserve to be heard. And I'm so happy that they're still out there doing it, because the songs are so good.
They
They're so good.
they were way ahead of their time. Really.
Absolutely, that whole mix of bringing the guitars that sound like bagpipes into the music, and you're instantly transported.
I'm getting the goosies right now just thinking about it. And in fact, I haven't even heard Big Country for a while, so I think I'm going to have to go back and listen to it a bit more. But yeah, no.
Oh, you got to. I mean, you hear a song like "Look Away" or something, and instantly you hear the
13
guitars.
Valleys in the 80s. That was a big song as well.
Good stuff.
Broken Heart, 13 Valleys. Oh, good stuff. Yeah, but good stuff. So let's carry on with the influences then. So we have the Beatles and the Eagles. And it's funny you were talking about like Fleetwood Mac and all these sort of things. It's very folksy stuff that you predominantly, would you say that was your predominant genre that you were listening to or influenced by, was folk music?
I think again it was a mixture of obviously the parents' record collection, then you discover your own kind of music when you're in school. So I was at that time probably I mean, it's debatable, but it's one of the best times of music, every generation says that, was that 80s time where you had so much great music coming from all different kinds of bands and sounds, and whether it was Peter Gabriel or U2 or Genesis or whatever, you had all this stuff going on. Even as I said, like the rap stuff, that's where I first discovered rap, with bands like Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, and then the heavy metal side, things like Anthrax, Metallica, so I had all of this stuff coming from every side. And yet probably when I was at home by myself and not with friends, I would dig out the Lindisfarne album or the something like Fleetwood Mac's Rumours, or just a lot of that maybe softer Americana kind of, not overly. I mean, it's country, it's not Western. I think country and Western I kind of discovered later, but that sort of country vibe, Tom Petty, so many great artists.
You probably have seen it, but there's a documentary out. If only I could remember. It's got Tom Petty in, and it's got. I think is that the one about Noise from the Valley or something like that.
Sure. About Laurel Canyon.
Noise from the Canyon or something. That's the one. Brilliant.
Yeah, I actually wrote a song on my last album called Laurel Canyon.
Okay.
So that whole sound that was coming out of there, right from the early 60s with bands like the Byrds and stuff. I mean, it was mixing in with that West Coast harmonies, and just love that era, especially, and love that sound. So
it must be so difficult nowadays to come up with something that is original, that somebody can't say, well, it sounds like this, it sounds like that.
Absolutely.
How is that? What is that process like?
I think first and foremost it's difficult, but when you write something you think, oh, I like that sounds catchy. Did somebody write that, or did I write that? That's the first thing, and then you have to just go with it and believe in it and think, okay, well, I think this is purely me. So what do I want to say, and how do I want it to sound? And I think to find your own sound is pretty tricky.
But that must be like an endless task, trying to find your own sound when everything's been done before you. How do you find something new? That is so difficult.
Well, I can only say for me, that was one of the reasons why it was so important for me to record this album in Scotland, and to record it with musicians who understand where I'm coming from and love the same kind of music and had the same kind of, I see where you're going with this, I know what you want to do, and to go with me on the journey. That was really important. Because
why Scotland? Why not Germany or London?
Well, I mean, I've worked with some amazing musicians here. I mean, obviously there are incredibly talented people also in Germany as well as everywhere else. But I think for me, one of the things that really inspired me and influenced me, music-wise, was a lot of that sound that I was trying to do in my music. And we mentioned big country, but also bands like Laphroaig, or a lot of the Scottish bands that I grew up listening to. So whether it was some pop guys like Hue and Cry or Wet Wet Wet, or
Hue and Cry, they were way ahead of their time.
Yeah, there's so many. There's so many great artists who came from this area, and they. I don't know. It was a very strong influence, but it was as if Scotland was calling me. It was like, you've tried this, you've tried that. Try and work with some guys who come from this area that you love, and that, as I say, will bring something to the table. That
is it a folksy thing, or is there something in the water that they put in there? That albums that come out of Scotland are really diverse and just like homey, like they pull at you to like primal, like tribal.
Yeah, it could be. Yes, you say it could be in the water. I mean, if not, then it's in the Scotch.
Yeah. I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. That's true. That makes damn fine.
And without being stereotypical, I mean, I love Scotch. I love a good Scotch.
What's your favourite?
My favourite. I love something a little bit peaty.
Oh.
So like a Laphroaig. Yeah, Laphroaig is
Laphroaig.
Laphroaig. No.
Yeah, that's
Lagavulin or Lagavulin, or however you want to pronounce it. Yeah, I think.
Ardbeg as well.
Yeah, super. Yeah, anything that's. I mean, I don't mind the smoky stuff, don't mind the salty stuff, but it's got to be peaty for me. That's
that does it for me as
well.
The
that does it
for me is
love
it. Yeah, when lockdown lifts, I'm buying myself a bottle of Laphroaig. There you go.
Do it. You've got to. Good.
So we were talking about recording in Scotland. Sorry, carry on.
So basically, I was very fortunate enough to meet a Scots guy who plays drums in a Queen tribute that I'm involved in here, with a Russian pianist called Natalie Poznova, and she took us on tour. Over the last couple of years, a couple of different places we played. We even played in Russia and stuff, and became very friendly with Gordon, and got on talking about the album. And he said, "Well, look, mate, if you want to try it, I know a lot of people, and let's see what we can do." So the ball started rolling, and we had a great time. We managed to get some great songs down. We got 12 songs down, and some incredible people worked on it, and fortunately everything was recorded before Corona came on the scene. It was a little bit tricky for the mixing and everything, but we did that online. We managed to get everything done, as I say, apart from one or two small things which should be sorted out very soon. And so
we're hoping for a March thereabouts.
Absolutely, yeah, and I'm looking forward to get it out there and getting people to hear it and
hearing it. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the first single obviously is just a small taster of what is on there. There's a lot of diversity again, but I think it has a sound. The whole album has a sound, and you think, it sounds like. Hopefully, it sounds like me, but it sounds like itself. It sounds like it should, how your favorite albums, there's not like a song that doesn't seem to fit or anything.
I mean, if you had to say to somebody the genre of the album sounds like, what would you say?
That's really tricky. What would you say it sounds like? Or where would you put it?
I mean, I don't know, because I've only heard "Turn Around and Kiss Me," and that to me is very.
You haven't heard? Okay, sorry.
Heard it. Yeah.
I thought you'd heard a couple more tracks.
No,
okay.
I haven't heard anything. No. No. Yeah, please do send. You've got my email address, so please do send.
Yeah, sure.
What you can. Then I'll play it in
Yeah.
the background, so that nobody can copyright it and do all sorts of funny things with it. So it'll be very soft in the background.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
And I'd love to hear it anyway, just in case, because I mean,
Yeah.
if it sounds anything, if it sounds like this, then it sounds very commercial, very easy listening. I think that's. I would say,
Yeah, I think back in the 80s you would have said AOR.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
But whether anybody under 30 will understand that.
Listen, I'm an 80s guy, so you're speaking to the right person, man.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, hopefully people can put it under the same banner as a lot of the bands and things that we've mentioned. That would be nice.
Oh, that'd be
to,
now I'm really wanting this album now.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I mean, there's one or two quite folky songs on there, but there's a lot of the stuff is very, very singer-songwriter Americana, and yeah, I'm dying for people to hear it and give me their feedback. So.
So you got my email, man. Send it to me. I want to hear.
Yeah,
it.
will do.
So, what are the plans then? Once the album comes out, what's then?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's tricky right now that I can't play anywhere live. So the main thing is to just do as much promotion as possible with people like your good self. Just doing podcasts and interviews and
It must be
trying to get
time to try and get an album out now.
Well, yeah, well, it is. I mean, but how long should I sit on it?
Well,
it's.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
And I think on one side, okay, I might have to swallow my pride a bit and say, okay, well, I know that I'm not going to make any money from this, but on the other hand, I might pick up some new followers and who will hopefully be ready to see me and hear me when the curtain lifts and we can finally get out there and get back on stage.
Let's unveil the true facts about streaming and things like that. We know that there's very little money to be made in that, if any at all. Sure. There was something quite recent. Nile Rodgers was part of a hearing about saying things that the streaming companies need to pay the artists more money. And it's been an ongoing quarrel for absolute ages, and Warner Brothers got involved and Sony, and they said, no, don't change it. Well, obviously you don't want to change the platform. You're making money from it. They get 40-odd%. The streaming companies get the 20%, and then the rest go to wherever the hell they go to. But Gary Newman...
I saw it, where he said he'd made something like £37 or something for over a million streams. Yeah.
How sick is that?
Yeah, it is sick. And I mean, that is unfortunately the downside of all of this free, wonderful media that we have.
The upside is you get coverage, but I mean...
The upside is that you get coverage,
cost?
but exactly. And I think that's the thing. I mean, many people... are in a similar situation to myself, right now. As I said, if you don't have that financial cushion of one of the big stars, it doesn't really matter to Lady Gaga or whoever. If she doesn't release anything for the next 5-6 years, it makes no difference.
Oh, she could probably retire anyway. I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean, she's got that financial cushion, and people will jump at her material whenever it comes out. They'll just wait. Or look at someone who's even longer in the business, someone like Kate Bush or Peter Gabriel. They can bring some original material out every 10 years. Yeah. Nobody blinks or bats an eyelid, and it's not a surprise. It's like, well, okay, yeah, fantastic, great, new stuff, and they lap it up. But if you're a new artist, I think for the last 5 to 10 years, it's been heading this way for a while, and I think we're all aware of the reality. It's just right now it's difficult because live music is still the place where you can actually still earn a living, and right now we can't play live. So it's a double-edged sword. You get great promotion, but hopefully everything will
See, the thing
get back to normal soon.
Yeah, you see, the thing, what I think about when I think about the digital platforms and all that sort of thing, the first thing that comes to my mind is it's a great promotional tool, marketing tool, and you can direct your fans to your music and
Sure.
then via to your social pages and all that sort of stuff. But as we just touched on, an independent artist, and this is their bread and butter. Things like
Yeah.
Bandcamp make more sense, but then again, the downside is that you have to then do a hell of a lot of PR and a hell of a lot more marketing, whereas the Spotify's, iTunes, and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
they do it all.
That's
you,
it.
basically.
Exactly. I mean, if you limit yourself to one platform, then basically you have to try and get all of your fan bases or a potential fan base to go to that site to buy and download your music.
Yeah.
Whereas if you basically open it up to all streaming, which a lot of the aggregators do, you pay a fee and whatever it is, $50 for an album, and they put it on every streaming platform that you can think of. So in that sense, you're paying $50 for promotion, in the sense that you're out there, and it doesn't matter what platform the general public are on, they can get you. Whereas on the other one, they have to go there. And so you have to weigh it up. I think there's a lot of pros and cons in the whole thing. And
I think the right thing is one of two things, is that you do both on all your digitals.
Sure. I mean,
your Bandcamp is where you make your money for the artists.
Yeah, I mean, sure. You have to hope that the people who are your fans, who are your fan base, that they will pay for it, and not just expect it for free. I mean that. That's hopefully this goodwill that you build up. But again, that it's difficult to build up a fan base when you can't get out and play.
This is why the internet is such a bastard sometimes. And it can be such a glorifying, wonderful thing, and it can be an absolute bastard too.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you got to do your why bands weren't doing this before anyway. Is surprising. Is doing the live stuff on the internet. Room shows and acoustic stuff and big massive productions. Even it doesn't really matter. I mean, bands should have been doing this from the word go anyway, I think, because the more you put yourself out there, the more you're going to get in return.
Yeah, well, I mean, as I said, that was our thinking with the tribute band. It was I know a lot of people who have basically sat the whole thing out and said, well, let's just wait. But our point of view was, well, if you just sit and wait, you might be gone next year.
Well, that's exactly,
people have to know you're still there, and the only way to do that is it's not easy, and it's like you have to swallow your pride a little bit. I think you have to just you say, look, we know it's a disaster, but it's a disaster for everybody.
So, exactly. It's not just
we're all in the same situation, so let's just make the best of it. And okay, what can we do? How can we get out there? And like I said, with this thing, with this Brian May thing, that was our most recent sort of promo that we did. But just trying everything else, So we did our streaming shows, and that would be my plan as well, is to do a streaming show. Or some kind of streaming concert when the album's ready to go out.
Right.
Okay, so even if it's just me with my guitar, So
absolutely.
That would be the thing.
Yeah. So I mean, we've got to keep an eye on the socials and see what you get up to and everything like that. So Michael, thank you so much for chatting to me, man. We're already up in time. So new album coming out in March. I look forward to receiving it in my inbox soon so I can listen to it. Turn around. Current single is already out there. Everything will be in the description below. All the links to all your socials and whatever else, so people can go click, like, love, share, and do their thing.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining me, man. I'm so glad we
You're very welcome.
And it's fantastic to speak to you. And when you start doing a tour, when things get lifted, and we must do this again mid tour or whatever the case may be, and let's raise a glass of some good Scotch whiskey and
absolutely. I'm with you. I'm with you with that.
Michael, thanks again, man. Keep safe. And,
all right, cheers, man. You take care.
Alrighty, keep well, brother.
Yeah. All right, man. Bye bye. Yeah, cheers.